Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to askNK. This is a very quick reaction to the brand new update, or to the brand new teaser that the guys at Pixologic has actually pushed out for ZBrush 2021. This met a lot of people with surprises, and for sure there's a lot of mixed reaction about what this is, who is stealing from who, why are you stealing my stuff, and you know, stuff like that. And I'm going to address all of these things in this video. The very first thing which I would like to address is the fact that this is an amazing looking, well put together sneak peek, and a huge shout out to whoever that did this, coming from the Pixologic team. Well made. Now, first things, once we go through and go through and take a look at what we have here, the Pixologic stuff actually started out with the cloth dynamics. Believe me, nobody expected this from the guys at Pixologic, and it is mind-blowing. It's just crazy. It's crazy that there is a cloth dynamic system that is potentially going to be coming to ZBrush, the same way it was crazy to even think about it in the first place that it was going to be in Blender. And I'm going to address the whole idea why, you know, I don't think a lot of people should be mad about it, but this is the industry and it is something that is growing, and I love the fact that everyone is, you know, getting competitive, putting things together, and not waiting for some user to come and complain about a feature that is not existing. So I think the best way for the industry to move forward is when an app produces something else, the competitor should make it even better, and then you should come back, make it even way better. The Cloth Dynamics brush is actually puzzling, and it is making me ask two questions. The very first question is, are we going to have a live dynamics tool in ZBrush? Which seems to be yes, but is this going to be animatable, or would you be able to export Alembic out of this? Because the way this looks, I know this is a screen grab, but with the way this looks, it kind of feels like it is potentially going to be an animatable tool, something that you can easily animate and, you know, just have your sculpt stay there and the cloth just drapes on your sculpt while you export that lovely stuff out. I think maybe it's something that they might add, and it's just making me ask a couple of questions. The way this works is very nice, and this is not stopping there, as they've also gone through to add some interactive cloth brushes. Previously there were brushes that you can use to sculpt cloth in ZBrush, but it's very interesting to see that you now have interactive cloth brushes, and these are very interesting. I love the idea that there are going to be more than one, because from the trailer we can see that is a cloth dimple, which is very nice, and of course we can also see that there is another very interactive cool cloth brush that I think a lot of people would like, which is known as the cloth hook. Probably this is going to be for the draping, as they've also proceeded to also show us a very small expand, you know, tool, which I guess would be used for draping. I think this might be used for draping, because it kind of looks like you can create pleats using this stuff, and it makes, you know, it makes a lot of sense. I'm very excited about this one. Something else that is also here is micropoly. Micropoly is another interesting tool that the guys from Pixologic also teased, which I think might, you know, take away micro mesh, or maybe might be the new micro mesh, because it looks very, very cool, looks very similar. But the thing here is the way that they've built this micropoly is, first of all, it's going to be real-time deformation, which I think they're using the brush tool to actually deform, and then you would have a lot of assets that you can tweak from, so you can combine these things together, get some dynamics happening. And I guess the whole idea for this particular update or this particular release is going to be more dynamics, because they're actually adding dynamics to everything. They're adding dynamics to the fiber mesh, adding dynamics to your mesh crumbling and turning to dust, you know, disintegrating and stuff like that. I don't know why it's going to be happening if it is not going to be exportable. So that's the main reason why I'm asking, is these dynamics going to be exportable? Will you be able to export these things out of ZBrush as maybe MDD files, Alembic files? Give me a file, something like that, something I can just throw into Blender from ZBrush and render, you know, something like that. I guess it might make a lot of sense. Then there are some very interesting viewport updates for me. Now, this viewport update is something I know a lot of people haven't used, and it's very interesting to see that the split viewport update can now be used alongside with nano meshes to get some cool instancing. So the instance feature for the nano mesh has now been heavily improved, as it's going to save you so much time, especially if you're creating assets and you want to throw in a couple of props and you just want to make one and you would like to use that one to proceed. This is going to be very cool, you know, accompanying the Z modeler enhancements which is coming. I think it might make a lot of sense. One simple request I would ask from the guys at Pixologic is please try and give us an interface that makes sense. I mean, even if you're not going to revamp the whole interface, I would love to see an interface for the Z modeler tool for these particular enhancements that we're seeing, because with this new Z modeler enhancement we can see some topological tools are coming here and they look pretty decent and very quick as well. There's also something that probably would look like what we are also having in Blender right now, which is an insert and extrude feature. I think this might not really be much of a problem since there is already extrude, but the extrusion that we have right here makes a lot of sense and I kind of like this particular one. The improvement for the live boolean seems to be very cool, and on the other hand I also think that this deals with how much polygons you can work with on your viewport. So depending on what you're working on at a given time, the polygons that you can work with at the given time right now seems to be well enhanced. As you can see from the screen here, we have about 89.5 million polygons, and presently within the tool which is being used there is 4.1 million polygons that is being, you know, tweaked at this point. So finally, there is also a very lovely intuition, a very lovely update that is being carried from the ZBrush Core Mini that was released a few months back, and this is the fact that you can now save an image as a GIF, a PNG, and you can load this right back into ZBrush and have this as a 3D model. So this is going to save time and this is going to save exportation issues. So instead of, you know, say I don't know, I cannot find this mesh, it doesn't open up, and you know my Z tool doesn't load up in this ZBrush and stuff like that, you just have a GIF file that you can easily load in and you can now use. So these are very cool and I love them, but then I do have some things I would like to easily and simply address. And the very first one is the idea that a lot of people within the comment section on the internet everywhere is complaining that the cloth dynamics in ZBrush is being copied from Blender. I would like to put everybody straight with this one by saying that first of all, 3DCodes was the first 3D sculpting company, 3D sculpting app to implement a cloth dynamics brush, hands down. They have actually reworked that, they've done it better, they've looked at it, they've worked on several stuff. The same way they were the first sculpting tool set ever to, you know, implement voxels. So if anyone is complaining about, you know, being copied, I do think that we should actually be fair. Either ways, I don't even see a problem about, you know, a company being copied or, you know, a tool or software being copied. Speaking about softwares being copied, we've seen a lot of copying from Blender, we've seen a lot of copying from ZBrush, we've also seen a lot of copying from Maya in recent times. I think it's, you know, it's a vice versa thing, because recently we started seeing face sets, we started seeing some tool sets like the multi-res. We also saw a couple of updates and, you know, saw some tools that are very likely to be ZBrushy and very likely to be modboxy, you know. And also we've seen like the voxel thing which exists with 3DCodes and it's coming over. We've also seen UDIMs, which I guess everyone would say, you know, existed in 3DCodes and also in modbox, and we've also seen them come over to Blender. So I think it's software companies or software solution providers trying to make whoever that is working with their software or with their platform feel comfortable. The whole idea of copying is everywhere, and I think it's a little bit overrated. So if you are part of those persons that are complaining about, you know, this tool set is copying this other tool set, I think it's a well-balanced stuff. You just need to consider the fact that probably your own tool set might have copied at a given time. Something else which I think the UV updates is also something that the guys at Pixologic hasn't spent a lot of time for. So they have not taken their time to fix that, and there is no talk about the UV updates coming for this one. This is a very wonderful update, and for anyone who is asking if this is going to be paid for, no, these updates will be free of charge to all registered ZBrush users. So if you're a ZBrush user and you're wondering if you will be able to get this, try this, use this, Yes, you can. So this is more about it, and of course I would like to have that conversation with you guys in the comment section. And of course, if you like this video or you learned something from it, you can go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And if you're new here, it's going to be amazing for you to hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or the next update. And until I see you guys again with a tutorial update, Free Friday, Tutorial Tuesday, tips and tricks, things like this. Peace.